Well, hey guys, it's another day, and the babies all made it through last night, and we're getting ahead on this friendly goose operation. I wanted to kind of show you something. Pick a goose here. If you come at a goose baby like this, you can see that it's like, get away from me. But these guys are already heading somewhere. But if you come underneath, where you're below their head level, you can see they'll let you get up to them. And that's just a natural goose behavior. If you ever watch geese when they're talking to each other and they're being friendly about it, you'll notice that they stick their heads out. And a lot of people think that's aggression. They get their head really low like this. Well, that's actually a sign to the other goose that, hey, I mean you no threat. I'm friendly. And it's kind of like a salute, right? When the knights of old, where the salute came from, would raise their visor, that showed that they were no threat to the other knight. Well, it's kind of the same thing. They go into a position where they're actually weaker. So even though these guys are only a few days old, that's hardwired into them. And you can see it doesn't really work with a duckling. A duckling just sees a big hand. But a goose, especially once it's imprinted, sees that hand coming in low and doesn't really see. But if I come up here, look, immediately wants to take off. So that's just something for y'all that are adding geese to your flocks to know. And it's a big part of the misunderstanding of why geese often are considered really, really aggressive, because they'll come toward people and be, honking and have their heads lowered, which is basically, I'm checking things out. You want my ring? And we're evaluating y'all to see how you're going to behave. And what do people do? They freak out. They put their hands up like this. Well, when a goose puts its head up like that, I'm here to tear you up. I'm not going to tolerate you. And when you see that behavior, think about it being another person. You walk up to a person, you talk to them, and they start to raise their shoulders and kind of give you the, what's up type of thing, and start looking at you with an attitude. Well, you think there's a threat here. Even if it's not an imminent threat, this is a person that I don't want to be part of. And then that person starts approaching you. How do you feel? You feel defensive. And that's just a big part of understanding goose body language. Right? See? We're going to race to the ground. We already know this, even though there was no mother goose to teach us this, because it's hardwired into us. And again, you can see that behavior there, and that same goose, when I go, yeah, she's trusting me now. But it's what they really like is that lowered hand. And you can see that even when they do trust you, they really don't like being picked up. People ask about picking them up, holding them. They're not really about that. And if you think about it, a goose or a duck doesn't have any hands. So it's not a motherly thing or a fatherly thing to be picked up and held. They're not people, they're birds. But everybody did great last night. Everybody's more mobile today. I'm not weighing them like I did the last few batches, but I can look at them and tell you, especially the ducklings, they put a little size on overnight. They'll double their weight in probably 3 to 4 days, easy. And within 3 weeks, they'll be 3 to 4 times the size they are now. If people grew like that, it'd be pretty amazing. I think it's pretty amazing. Little girl, how you doing? I keep telling, we have one adult Welsh Harlequin in the flock, and I keep telling her, you're not going to be the prettiest girl in the flock soon. You're going to get blended in. I don't think she cares. She might when you guys show up. Anyway, we are in the quail aviary. I might as well give you an update on the quail. Some people asked for that yesterday. I also had a question I'll answer today about someone that says they have Metzer 300. They're supposed to be all females, and they think they have quite a few of them that are males because they're exhibiting a male-like behavior. In other words, mounting the other ducks. Little goose there. Let's not step on you, girl. I think that's my friendly one. I got one that's real super friendly. I think that's her. Just because you see a duck mounting another duck doesn't mean the duck doing the mountain's a male. You need to look and see if there's actually breeding behavior, because the Metzer 300s, those ducks, actually the males look more like a Swedish duck than a Metzer 300, and that is both the whites and the goldens. So if you have white or golden Metzer 300s and they're doing that, it's probably because you have a flock that's almost all females, and when there's no males, the females will start to exhibit male behavior. And that happens even in my flock, where we have a lot of drakes, probably more than we should. But the less drakes you have, the more that'll happen. The nature's trying to fill a niche there. And there's a social order in the duck flock, and part of it is maintained through breeding, and there's a certain dominance of the drakes. Anyway, you can see the quail are doing really good. They have taken this area down to where I need to move them, but I got to figure out what to do now. That real lush one over there, that's where they're supposed to go next, that rowan from yesterday, I have her in there. When these guys started getting interested in her, she was very aggressive toward them, so I had to move her, and she's not ready to come out of there yet. So I might come out later today and just put her in one of the crates or something for a little bit, move my quail, and then put her in this segment right here. She should be good in another couple days. I've had ducks do that. They get a limp, and you just need to separate them from your flock, and they generally heal up really well in about 3 to 4 days. The longest it's ever taken for us has been about 9 days for one girl. You can see the imprinting I've talked about. Everybody wants to follow the giant, right? And really what it is the geese have imprinted. The geese want to follow the giant, and the baby ducks are following the geese. And what we've got here is the beginnings of a really strong flock bond. And what'll be cool is in a few weeks I'll be able to show you is these geese get up to 3 times the size of the ducks, and they will fast, 3 or 4 weeks. You'll see the baby ducks exhibiting behavior that they would with a mother duck. And what I mean by that is you'll see a goose sitting on the ground, and then you'll see a baby duck or two on her back. You often see that with brooding ducks. Yeah, that's my friendly little girl right there. She likes me the best out of all of them. I have to come up with names for these guys, the geese anyway. Hopefully it won't be the Barnyard Mafia. Anyway, we'll catch up with you in a bit. Quail aviary is banging. We are going to remove those dog crates, so we're an emergency thing. We're going to put some Tupperware stuff in there. It's a lot smaller and lighter. The quail do go in there when it rains. And on that note, one more update as we get buzzed here by F-16s. These guys are all going to have to go in a shed for about 3 days. I have an 8x8 shed. We're going to line the floor with straw. We're going to get torrential rains for about 3 or 4 days in a row, and they just are not ready to be wet like that yet. So they'll still have a lot of space. They won't be in a brooder box, but we're going to have to put them indoors for their own safety. They probably won't be happy about it, but they'll get over it. And then the first day they're back out, it won't matter. And this aviary has really paid dividends fast, not just in what it did for the quail and getting them out of the caging, but if you think about this, I'm able to brood these guys out here, and the cats can't get them. I have some pictures I need to post to Facebook of both of the cats sitting up on the roof, and you know, they can't get in here. So they're safe from predators, they're safe from our own cats, and the cats have learned not to mess with the adult ducks. But it's going to take the ducks being about twice the size of that quail right there before I'm comfortable with them out with our cats, especially since they don't have a mother. Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Those geese are going to explain to those cats by the time those geese are sub-adults that their days of even thinking about getting near any member of that flock are over. And we've seen that. Look, here we all come. The giant's over here. Anyway, guys, it is really fun raising these animals. I hope more of you give it a shot. Take care. Remember, these things don't belong everywhere. In neighborhoods, they're noisy, and they probably won't work out real well. But if you're out in the country, the urban rural fringe like I am, geese make a good addition to your duck flock.